Hey there, Bob from Oregon's Constant Garden. Welcome to the little rain coming down. Welcome to the OCG Fam Show to you, my YouTube buddies. What's going on? Let me know in the comments and we'll talk about it after the show. But before we get into the show, I'd like to mention that if you're watching this video on the day that it drops, it is tomorrow will be the 20th day of the 4th month of the year, and that is cause for celebration in these parts. So if you were thinking about purchasing anything from OCGFAM908.com, you should consider waiting until midnight to where you're actually on April 20th, 420. I think you'll be happy you did. So, enough said. Today's show is about alkalinity, and we've had these issues where we talked about this, about where, you know, you have some water that has some deficiencies, and you start losing pH as you go into your grow, and how you deal with that. But more importantly than how you deal with that is how you shouldn't deal with that if you don't have the issue, because while if you have this issue, it is certainly advantageous to work with it. If you do not, it is better not to. It's not something where you can just better safe than sorry this situation. And Scott and I talk a little bit about this in the clip I want to show you, so I'd like you to watch it, and I'll talk to you after. Bruce, should we be front-loading pelleted limestone from every new grow, regardless if we're using RO water or tap?
No, it really depends on what. If your tap water is 8.5 and you front-load lime, you're in trouble, because you're going to be depositing that extra lime that's in the water into the soil because nothing's digesting it or breaking it down. So you can go from a neutral soil all the way up into the 8.5 and it'll never come back down because there's nothing breaking it down.
Oh.
So if you have tap water above 7.0, you don't really want to front load limestone. You want to really get through a whole run and see if you've got a big dip. A lot of guys don't. I mean, I've got a handful of customers that if they add 1 teaspoon of Olympus up to their feed, it spikes their pH because of their water chemistry, and then their soil gets up above 7.5 and we can't get it back down. It's been a nightmare for like 3 people that I'm dealing with. It's just like, why can't this come back down? And I don't want to flash them with acids in the soil. So we're trying to figure out all these different ways to do the microbial thing. I know the UPS guys here, and you're thinking that you need to go get a treat.
Look at that. I don't know what to say. I'm not in charge at all.
Left.
What about the RO? What about the RO water?
Well, the RO, I mean, if you... Generally, you're going to have a swinging pH towards the acidic side of going into bloom. Front-loaded in veg, I still don't like, because you're raising the pH up in the soil up into neutral when the plant's really trying to eat nitrogen at 6.1, 6.2. So if you front-load in veg with limestone, it's going to neutralize your soil and it's going to hold it there. So now you got to be feeding it like a 5.5, 5.6 just to get the plant to accept the nitrogen. Then when you go into bloom, it wants to go back up into the mid-6s and the 7s. So if you're using RO, chances are I would recommend front-loading as you go into the bloom stage. So if you're transplanting up, that's when you want to front-load that soil. In veg, no, run with the soil you got. Even if your pH in your soil gets down to 6, in veg, the plants they love that. It's when you get into the bloom stage and you're at 6, the plants hate it with our nutrient line because they're not accessing the calcium and the phosphate, because that's where our stuff is most available, is 6.4, 6.5, 6.6. So the front load veg, no. Front load bloom with RO water, most likely not a bad idea. I'd still go off of, you know, the trend.
Yeah, look at what's going on. Yeah. Don't just like, oh, boom, let's do it.
Well, yeah, scratch it and just
so
go ahead and front load.
You would have done a couple of slurries throughout veg to see if it was fading away?
Oh, yeah, and I mean, I do that regardless.
Yeah.
Halfway through veg and right before I'm about to switch, because if I can correct or at least start steering the ship in the right direction before I flip into bloom, I don't have any problems.
But I don't want to not retroactively, I don't want to like just go for it proactively. Yeah.
Now, if you're proactively and your soil's at 6.5 and everything's perfect, and then you throw limestone in there and it takes it up to 7.2 because the initial release, then the plants struggle because they can't really consume at that pH anyway. So I can't say front load all the time. There's customers that I've been talking to for years that I'm like, just front load because you need to, but not everybody needs to. So I'd stick with slurries, find your trend and your plant's tendencies in your garden. And then it's not harmful to front load if you know this is a constant issue for you. Yeah. Always front load if that's the case. But if you have never had this issue, like a lot of people want to run out by Chimera in the Midwest, where their water is filtered through limestone. So it's like you don't ever need the Chimera. I would love to say, hey, everybody go out and buy the Chimera, but a lot of people don't need Chimera if their water
They're
is
gonna make it
high.
worse, not better.
Yeah.
Okay. Got a little Oregon sunshine on me. What do you think of the video? Let me know in the comments and we'll talk about it. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. The OCG Fam Show. It's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCG Fam Show. See you tomorrow.